Stella, Splash, Simba, Hydrox, Ditto, and Boo, the Lucky Ferals.
Today is Ditto's 151st day as a house cat. He's having some breakfast right now. He's eating some scallops and shrimp, and to his right is some raw chicken. And I moved over the water bowls and the other raised feeder. So on the left he has his chicken pot pie baby food, and on the right he has a little bit of canned food. And in both of those I have a new supplement that I'm using. It's Oxbow's Critical Care Carnivore. And the reason why I'm using that is because the baby food that he loves is very far from a complete food for cats, and I wanted to add more nutrition to it. So I've been using that for a few days now, and he seems to like it. That's his favorite food to eat, the baby food with the critical care powder in it. And it has really good reviews for cats who are dealing with health issues, and I'm very hopeful that maybe it'll help Ditto a bit. So Ditto has lost some weight since he's been a house cat. When he was weighed back in November at the vet's office, he weighed 11.5 pounds. And right now he probably weighs about 8.5 pounds. So he lost about 3 pounds in the past 4 months. So I'm trying to do what I can to keep weight on him. When he first came inside last May for an injured leg, and he spent a month inside, he ate so much food and he didn't put on any weight. And at the time I was thinking maybe he has like a hyperthyroid issue. So he's been on some hyperthyroid herbs for the past week or so. He doesn't mind them in his food. I don't know if they're making a difference. The other thing that I thought was, well, what about worms? So he was dewormed back in May. They gave me the parental pomawate solution for him. He had that before he went back outside. And then when he came inside in October, I specifically asked the vet for more dewormer. And they gave me 1 dose of it. And they didn't bother to follow up or anything. And he had the 1 dose of it at the time. And then he actually spent an entire month on a, let's just call it a horse dewormer or a livestock dewormer, because it is supposed to be helpful for cancers. So Ditto took that for a month, and I saw no improvement at all on it. If anything, his swelling seemed to be getting a little bit bigger. So I took him off of it because they said if he's on it for a month and you don't see an improvement, there's no reason to continue it. So even though he had several dewormers and he was on a dewormer for a month, I still thought, well, maybe he's not gaining weight because he has worms. So I had a fecal test done this past week, actually about a week ago, and it came back positive for roundworms. So I had to give him dewormer. The vet only gave me a few syringes of the dewormer, and Ditto will not take a syringe in the mouth. Like, he fought me, and this cat, considering he has health issues, he is really, really strong. And there was no way that I was going to get clawed to death, because even though he doesn't have teeth, he only has 2 teeth, he has fierce claws. And I was like, I am not getting ripped to shreds trying to get dewormer in him. So then I tried to put it in his food. He would not eat it in his food. So what I had to do was I had to buy a larger bottle of it on Amazon. Like, thank God for Amazon sometimes. So I was able to get a larger bottle, which gave me like unlimited doses versus the few syringes that I got from the vet. And I should also say that when you buy it on Amazon for a large bottle, it's half the cost of only a few syringes full of it from a vet. So it's definitely worth buying on Amazon if you're dealing with feral cats and deworming them. So what happened was I figured out what his dose was. Since I had the syringes, it's the same exact stuff that the vets use. And I put enough in all of his plates of food. Like, you could see he has 4 plates today, but that day he had 3 plates of food. And I put enough in each plate, considering I know he only eats about half of each plate of food. So I calculated, the correct dosage based on what he normally eats. And then the following day he made a poop and it was covered with worms. So at least I know this time it worked, because the way that the dewormer works is it paralyzes the worms so then he could pass them out with his stool. And that's what happened. It happened about 12:30 in the morning. I was sitting here with Ditto. He was sitting on my lap. I was brushing him. And then all of a sudden he got up to use the litter box and he made a really big poop. And I went to scoop it right away, and that's when I saw all the worms on it. So I immediately dumped it into a plastic bag, wrapped it up, and took it out to the garbage. I was like, I don't want this in my house. So that only happened like yesterday morning, and I'm waiting for him to take another poop to see what else is going on, if he's going to pass more worms or what. But the protocol that the current vet has him on, which is the holistic vet, is he took the dewormer the other day. In 2 weeks, he's going to take more dewormer. 2 weeks after that, he's going to take more dewormer. And then 2 weeks after that, he gets another fecal test to make sure that there are no worms in him at all. So hopefully that will make a difference, and maybe he'll be able to put on more weight. He's been getting between 200 and 300 calories of food a day. So that would normally sustain a cat of 10 pounds to 15 pounds. So hopefully once the worms are gone, he will put on a few pounds. I'd like to get him back up to at least 11 pounds again. That's like a good weight for him. He did get a bath this morning, so his fur is looking a bit disheveled. He's still a little bit wet. He's also been on Metamucil. That's something new over the past week. So because he wasn't pooping as much as he should, even though he was getting fish oil and olive oil and stuff like that in his food, I decided to look into like Miralax or Benefiber or Metamucil, all of which can be used for cats. And I decided on the Metamucil, and that's been working pretty well. So in the past week, Ditto has pooped 4 times. So right now he's only pooping like every other day or every 3 days, which is a very, very big improvement for what it was. And once this past week, he actually pooped 2 days in a row, and that's a first for Ditto. So we're seeing improvement with that also. The other way we're seeing improvement is with the drooling. So he's not drooling nearly as much as he was drooling like a month or 2 ago. So what happened was his face got so swollen that it was holding his mouth open. So at all times, his mouth was being held open. Let's say there was an opening about 1 inch in diameter. Like it was a pretty big opening on the side of his mouth. So since some of the swelling has gone down, the size of that opening has gone down a lot, and it's hardly there at all. Like it's really, really small, if anything. So he's been drooling a lot less. So that's been really helping, because now I don't have to put as many paper towels all around, because there's not nearly as much drool. So I'm taking that as good progress. Also, like the inside of his mouth used to be much more bright red than it is now. It looks more of a pink color. So again, I'm going to take that as a sign of improvement. And when I say the inside of his mouth, like, you know, where he had the gaping hole on the side of his mouth from the swelling, you know, I could kind of look inside and see what was going on a little bit. And, you know, I could see the tumor and the tumor tissue, and it was all really, really bright red. And now it seems more like a more healthy pink color. So hopefully that's a sign of improvement. So there's been a whole lot going on here over the past week. I've been back and forth to the vet's office multiple times. First to take the stool in for a stool test, and then to get the dewormer. And then yesterday, since it was such a beautiful day, I took every litter box in the house outside, scrubbed it down, disinfected it, and then I came inside and I disinfected as much of this room as I can. I scrubbed the walls. The walls have never been so clean, because Ditto has been, you know, eating food, shaking his head, and getting it everywhere. So, yeah, I did a lot of deep cleaning in this room yesterday. And this is the product that I've been using. I got this at Petco. This is So Fresh Multi-Surface Cleaning Wipes. It says it cleans and deodorizes litter boxes and scoops, but I used it on the floor of this room. I used it on the walls. I used it on the windows. I used it pretty much anywhere I could use it, because these were working really, really good as far as cleaning up dried cat food, because he gets the pureed food, and when he eats, he's a bit messy. He gets it on his face, and then he shakes his head, and it goes everywhere. I moved this mini cat tower here near the other cat tower, hoping that he would use it. He still hasn't used it. He still loves just jumping straight up to the top of the shelf and jumping straight down from the top of the shelf. And this is Ditto's new favorite place to hang out during the day, and that's laying here in the sun on the grass by the window. And I keep the window a little bit open because it's been really nice lately and the weather's starting to warm up. So he really enjoys laying there, getting some sun, so I think that's good for him. And we have a brand new plant in Ditto's room. He now has a lucky shamrock. They had these in the local supermarket the other day, I guess for St. Patrick's Day. And the shamrock that I had last year, it was outside, but it did not survive the winter, even in my greenhouse. So I got Ditto a brand new shamrock, and it's doing really well. And I was in the Christmas tree shop the other day, and I got this flower pot for it, and I thought it went really well because it almost looks like it has 4-leaf clovers on the flower pot. So the shamrock itself is still in the plastic flower pot that it came in, and then I just put it in a nicer flower pot, and it works out really well because that way when I water it, I don't worry about the water leaking to the bottom. And all the plants in this room are pretty much the same. They all are in a plastic pot in a nicer decorative pot. And it seems to be working really well for all the plants. All the plants are doing really, really well. So there's my snake plant. There's one of the ferns. That fern likes it better here than it did on the other side of the room. The other side of the room, it got too much sun, and here it's more in the shade, so it really likes that. And then these are the little baby ferns that were in like little shelf planters, but they weren't doing good in the shelf planters at all. Like you could see that they were like drying out and everything. So I put them in a larger flower pot, and they like it much better. They're doing much better. They're still kind of in recovery mode, but hopefully they'll be thriving soon. This is another fern that I have on the shelf, and it's doing really well. And there's one of the mini palm trees. Those are growing nicely. And this is the money tree, and this is sprouting. And here's the other palm tree and the spider plant. And then here on the desk near the humidifier, I have another fern, which is doing really well also. This has more shoots. It constantly has more shoots coming out of the center. This is quite a bit bigger than when I got it. This is a button fern here in the corner. Now this one, I probably need to water it more than I do. It's looking a little bit dried out in areas. Some areas of it look healthier than others, but this is one of the only plants in the room that is only in a plastic flower pot. I should probably replant this like the others, where it's in a plastic flower pot in a nicer flower pot, because what happens is when I water this, the water like overflows and it drips down and it's not as neat. So note to self. And then I have another snake plant which is doing really well. And here on the floor is where I had a small litter box for Ditto, but when I was cleaning all the litter boxes yesterday, I said I'm only going to put one litter box back in his room. It's really all he needs, just one large litter box. And I put one of his cat beds here with a blanket over it, and that's where he slept all night. He loved it. I think that was everything that was new over the past 10 days. Oh, his paws. Look at his paws. They're getting whiter and they're getting cleaner. So because Ditto is drooling less than he was, now I can kind of get ahead on keeping his paws clean. They still have a ways to go. His front legs are still quite dirty from food, from when he shakes his head. But overall, there is an improvement with his paws because again, he's not drooling as much, so then I can clean them. Oh, he also has a spot on his forehead where he's missing fur. Kind of like when Boo first came to the back door after he went missing for a while, and he was missing fur on his forehead. So yeah, Ditto's missing fur on his forehead now also. I don't know, maybe he scraped it on something the other day. It just happened. One day I walked in and I was like, what is going on with your forehead? It hasn't gotten any worse. I am watching it. Ditto says, please continue to keep him in your prayers and to send him lots of positive energy and thoughts of health and healing. Oh, look at this. Is he going to go this way? Wow, is he going to use the cat tower? Is he going to use the cat tower? Whoa, whoa, Ditto! See, he knew that's what we were talking about. Yay! Ditto would like to thank everyone for sending him lots of positive thoughts of health and healing. He says, please continue to visualize him completely healthy and fully recovered. He's not giving up. He's enjoying himself way too much as a house cat, getting all the finest foods and laying in the sun all day with fresh air and a breeze through the windows. So that's our update. Ditto says thank you all very much, and we hope you have a great day. It's almost 7 p.m. and I just came into Ditto's room. I'm gonna set myself up in here to edit the update video, the 150-day update video, but I'm gonna add this to it because guess what Ditto did? He pooped today. Yeah, I just came in the room and I looked at the litter box. I'm like, that looks like poop. Sure enough, it was. So he pooped yesterday and he pooped today. In the past 6 days, Ditto has pooped 4 times. That is so awesome. Good job, Ditto. Thank you for watching this Lucky Ferals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.